Let's do this thing.
Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No Neil? Feeling all right?
I haven't heard. But we know Bill was going to be late.
Yes. All right. I will make a motion to approve the February 26th regular meeting minutes.
I will second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those in abstention.
It's an easy one. Select Board will meet on the following dates at 5 p.m. Monday, March 25th, Monday, April 8th, Monday, April 22nd. Town elections are tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Plymouth Elementary School. And then town meeting is on Wednesday at 7 p.m., also located at Plymouth Elementary School. Any citizens wishing to be listed on the Select Board's agenda should notify the Town Hall before noon the Thursday before the scheduled meeting. All meetings are held here in Town Hall and held by Zoom. Zoom information can be found on the town's website at plymouthnh.gov. With that, let's do the town manager's report.
Sure, thank you. Starting off with regards to town meeting preparation, Ann and I will be meeting over the next couple days to go through the budget and warrant articles and preparations of questions at town meeting. Additionally, a department head meeting was held last Wednesday, March 6th, to review the budget and warrant articles and prepare for questions at town meeting. Is there anything the board would like specifically prepared for town meeting?
I don't think so. Are you doing some opening remarks like you did last year?
I do have opening remarks, yes. My plan is the opening remarks to introduce the board, introduce the budget committee, introduce the department heads, and then go into my opening, which really kind of follows your budget presentation
Okay.
that you did at the,
At the first hearing?
yeah.
Yep. Okay, perfect.
Welfare Director's Report. Mary Ann worked with 28 individuals through the month of February, working through rental request, housing, temporary lodging, electric, fuel bills, and a cremation. As always, I appreciate Mary Ann's diligence in navigating and facilitating assistance to the individuals served. Town of Bridgewater, Hunt Road East. I have consulted with Attorney Radigan in regards to obtaining an easement for a small portion of the culvert that Bridgewater owns on Hunt Road East. This culvert has been a problem for many years, and the town has been trying to find a resolution. I have been in communication with Bridgewater Selectboard, and I have a meeting with them on Thursday, March 21st, to pursue the easement, of which they are in agreement to move forward with. Kirk's mediation. I participated in a court order mediation with George and Christine Kirk on Wednesday, February 28th at Pease Public Library. Present were Attorney William Warren, Town Attorney, Attorney James Steiner, the Kirk's attorney, the Kirks, and I. I'm in hopes to have a signed consent decree for the Select Board to review and sign on Monday, March 25th, which in that consent decree, we discussed all of the zoning violations, of which they have agreed to correct the zoning violations. They also have agreed to go in front of the zoning board for a special exception for junkyard permits at all 3 sites. And that there's timelines set up of when these have to be completed, but just waiting for the final document. I was hoping to have it for tonight, but unfortunately not. We will have it for Monday, March 25th.
Anything that we didn't come to agreement on? Great.
Nope.
If they go in front of the zoning board and the zoning board does not grant them that permit, then what?
Then they would have to, the only vehicles they would be able to keep in the yard are those that are part of the automobile sales piece.
Okay.
In the agreement, it also talks about any vehicles that are towed in have to be removed from that lot within 45 days, which they've agreed to. So I think there is stipulations
It is a path to
built.
get things back
absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely. Assessing reevaluation contracts. I know we've talked about this the last couple meetings, but Ann, Carol, Terry, and I met with Whitney Consultants on Thursday, February 29th, to receive additional information on the upcoming contract renewal and thoughts of conducting reevaluation every 2 years. The other item that was discussed is the current Patriot software that are used in the assessing department. We're in hopes to have a draft contract as well as an update on the Avatar software, which is the one recommended by Whitney Consultants, at our next meeting on Monday, March 25th. Plymouth State University updates. The Community Council meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, April 10th at the Plymouth Town Hall at 5:15. Tentative agenda items are PSU orientation, the Office of Community Impact, PSU enrollment, budget, and PSU town partnership. Plymouth State University, I'll be meeting with Jess Dutile on our monthly meeting on Wednesday, March 20th. Plymouth State University Police Chief Search, I participated in the university chief interviews on Tuesday, February 27th. They have selected Chief Steve Lefebvre to lead the police department into the future. PSU Master Planning Executive Committee on Monday, March 25th at the Select Board meeting. Gregory Jenks, who's the PSU consultant, will provide an update on the Plymouth State University Master Plan at a high level. LSSA quarterly meeting will take place on Monday, March 25th. President Burks and other members of the PSU cabinet will be here for ongoing conversations on the LSSA to include future thoughts on funding and in-kind donations. Downtown drainage project update. Plymouth Village Water Sewer, Town of Plymouth, our engineers and Grenice contractors met on March 6th to outline a plan for a start date this spring. Tentative schedule is as follows. Spring startup will occur the first week of April. And then if it occurs prior to that, based on weather conditions, we'll have a start date well in advance to communicate to downtown businesses, residents, and off-campus housing. The first section simultaneously to be done, which is a 4 to 5 week duration period, is Warren and Russell Streets will be reclaimed and paved with a base coat. Main Street from High Street to Highland Street will be boxed out, paved with a base coat, and repair sidewalks. Second section, 3 to 4 weeks in duration, Highland to Warren Street, rebuild the sidewalks and street, pave with a base coat. And the third section is 2 to 3 days, final pavement on all of Main Street, identified sidewalks, South Main Street, Warren and Russell Streets. So we are in hopes that by the middle of June, all construction will be completed and finished.
What's the difference between repair sidewalks and rebuild?
So in the town section from Highland to Warren,
Okay.
the town section of the road that we did for the drainage project,
Yeah.
we built in rebuilding the sidewalks, curbing, and the roadway.
So rebuilding meaning they all come out, or? Okay.
All come out and be rebuilt, realigned with new curbing.
Okay.
And then from the project from Highland to the roundabout, that was a Plymouth Village Water and Sewer project. And that was just the repair of the sidewalks as well as boxing out the road and repaving the road from Highland down to the roundabout.
So repair not meaning completely dig up, just,
Correct.
Sections
Reclaim the
or-
top of it and do a base coat across and then a final coat.
gotcha.
But not rebuilding them with new curbing, et cetera. If curbing is destroyed during the construction, they certainly will replace the granite curbing that is destroyed.
Gotcha. And then the parking at Silver Center, will we be able to park?
Be able to park during the construction,
Okay.
yes.
Great,
Yep.
thank you.
What the initial plan is that when they have the road dug up, they will line it with spray paint for parking purposes.
Gotcha. Will they also be, the line drawing for parking and the crosswalks and things?
All of that
like
is included in the total project.
That's good.
On South Main Street, there's new landing pads where the crosswalks are. There's obviously new sidewalk. But everything is new on South Main Street versus what is being done on this middle section to the roundabout.
So Scott, we are looking for this project to be completed
By mid-June.
All right.
And that really concludes, I mean, other than that, I will make sure that we effectively communicate through email and other communication sources to the businesses, the residents, off-campus housing, to assure they know what that weekly construction schedule looks like. And as every week, every 2 weeks, I'll provide an update based on the information that I have.
Great. Any other questions for Scott? All right, we have an appointment to the planning board for Brad Puffer. Dear Planning Board and Office of the Select Board, this letter is to request appointment to serve on the Plymouth Planning Board as an alternate or full member. As a resident and taxpayer in Plymouth for many years, I care deeply about the current and future civil, public, and private projects and developments. By serving on the Town of Plymouth's Planning Board, I believe I can help contribute towards the town's short and long-term planning goals. My background as a long-standing resident, property, and small business owner prepares me to serve in this capacity. I ask you to review this request letter and vote on my appointment. Sincerely, Bradford Puffer. And just for clarity, the position that's open is an alternate.
All right. I'll make a motion to appoint Bradford Puffer as an alternate to the planning board.
Second.
Any discussion?
What does Puffer Industry, oh, towing recovery, gotcha, didn't see that.
Oh, on the letterhead.
Yeah. Just didn't know what they did. Not that it matters. Anyway.
Anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and we have a revision to the COVID-19 policy.
So, as you probably have heard on the news recently, the the COVID policy and illness requirements, if you happen to get COVID, have changed, where you don't have to stay home anymore for 5 days in quarantine. So quarantine basically got taken away, and you can return to work after 24 hours of no fever with medication induced. So that is the change now. So our employees can come back, on day 2 if they feel better. It depends on how you personally feel, and that's the intent of this change. So I just need the board, if you would please, to approve this latest modification. Hopefully we can continue on this direction and not ever have to go back to where we were in 2020.
I know there's a lot of confusion out there about those changes. Will we be communicating this to our employees so they all know?
Yes, we always, whenever there's a policy update, we send it out to everyone so that they are aware of that,
Okay.
and the department heads as well.
Great, thanks, Ann.
All right, I'll make a motion that we accept the amended COVID-19 policy change.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, signature file review.
So also in your package, you probably saw that there was a handout from last week's planning board meeting, just in case the board members didn't get a chance to watch that yet. This is a really good handout as to what each article means that's coming up that you're voting on tomorrow.
Is this how it's going to be distributed?
That was distributed at last Thursday's meeting.
But are they handing this out at town meeting like this?
I don't know.
They are not handing it out at town meeting, but I believe the planning
Or
board.
I mean at voting? Because it would be.
Yeah, yes, I'm sorry, yes. Somebody from the planning board is going to be outside in the designated area, fielding questions as people enter.
Gotcha. was
I
just
think John
thinking
Christ
the,
is actually going to be there.
My eyes aren't bad, but
Yeah.
that small text, white on blue, I think half the population in this town won't be able to read it.
We can ask Joseph to see if he's made a bunch of them already.
Yeah, we can absolutely.
I can ask him tomorrow.
Because there is a there is another document that is available in just plain text on 8.5 by 11 sheets.
I mean, the design on it's really nice.
It is nice.
But I'm just like, I don't know if the accessibility would meet requirements.
Yeah, is it 8-point font?
Mm-hmm.
Is it on the website?
It is on the website under the HOP
Okay.
section.
So they could open it and,
They can, sure.
We're listening to the meeting. That was a 3-hour meeting, is that right?
It was a 3-hour meeting.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was a
Meeting.
great meeting. There was probably, I don't know, probably 17 to 20 people in attendance. They went through every zoning amendment. There was great conversation with regards to those. And then they also discussed the open residential development under the site plan regulations and had quite a conversation on that. But it started at 6:30 and ended at 9:30. But I thought John did a nice job of explaining all of the zoning amendments and going through those. So,
All right. Anything else from your signature file review?
Oh, I got a lot to go, yeah. So we first have a warrant for yield taxes. This is for property that is at 503 Daniel Webster Highway. The amount of this tax is $2,703.61.
That's what, a yield tax?
Timber tax. We
Ah.
call it a yield tax.
Is it? I'm from the city.
Sorry. We have another land use change tax for 69 Crescent Street. Appears to be 2 of them here for the same. I'm sorry, it's just one, 208.97.18, land use change tax, $6,500. Have another large timber tax, 218 Yetton Road for 9/11/01. Followed by another one for, sorry, it says Dorchester Road. Just trying to find your location. I'm sorry, Fairgrounds Road. That amount is $6,387.87 even. Very large timber cut. I have 2 abatements. One, these are both in-house abatements. First one is 3 Quincy Road for demolition of or sold abandoned mobile home. The amount of this is $228.18. And the last item I have is another 3 Quincy Road, removal of abandoned camper. And also 3 Quincy Road for $678.48. And that goes back to 2017 that we were assessing that and found out it has been moved.
Zach, one other thing on the zoning amendments that Dan just reminded me of is that we do have videos from John and Matt for each amendment on YouTube as well for people to take a look at if they're interested.
Yeah, they did a really nice job on those explainer videos. They're good. Definitely people should watch those
Thank
if
you, Dan.
have any questions. Yeah, what is it? There's six zoning amendments?
7,
Seven.
yeah. There was gonna be 8, but they removed the
They removed
overlay. Yeah.
This one.
Going in all the wrong way.
I did it all in the wrong order, too.
I couldn't tell where they were.
That one was a little more complicated.
All right, maybe I get them all. Yeah, that's the one.
You can check mine too. See if I sign them all.
As long as there's 3 on each, that's all that really
Perfect.
matters.
The one with the legible signature.
Nice. Nice, how come we... Oh, Ted, you missed this one.
Did I miss one?
Yep.
Probably,
Due diligence, baby.
probably folded back on me.
Anything else, Ann?
Nope.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
I'll look through just in case.
And that takes us to committee reports. We'll start with Village Water and Sewer.
No water meeting, no meeting last week.
No meeting. Scott kind of gave us the update on planning board, which is really they went through all the amendments. I was only able to dial in for the first half. Did they cover anything else in that meeting?
Just the only other thing was the open residential development changes that they're looking in the site plan regulations.
Okay.
That
If
was
they
it.
make changes based on feedback from the community, suggestions as they go through, how does that work? Do you actually make the changes in the warrant and
Which, for the one that they went through on Thursday
Yes,
night?
on
No, because that was an
Thursday.
informational session. They'd
Gotcha.
already done all their
Yeah.
hearings and
That's when
already
you
had
would
voted
make
them
the-
onto the warrant and all. So that was purely an informational session. It was too late to make any changes, really.
And then with regards to the open residential development, they'll have discussion the next 2 meetings, and they'll hold a public hearing. And then they'll bring that to the board after they've received the feedback on the whole site plan regulation changes.
thanks?
Okay, Campus Community Council, we just got
Covered by
the,
Scott,
Yep.
but I'll reiterate that the meeting is on the 10th of April at 5:15, right here.
okay. Yes,
Yes. Met on the 4th. It was a pretty quick meeting as a whole. Some of the high points were talking about the 100th day celebration, the museum piece that they did. They did a fashion show. They also talked a little bit about kicking off a PTA fundraiser. And trying to read my notes here. Cultural Arts Night on, I think, the 20th. And they also highlighted March 26th, their presentation of Flapper. And they talked about the PTA meeting on the first Wednesday of the month at 6:30. They talked a little bit about athletics, specifically wrestling. Went to states, and the 3 female students went on to the next level. They talked about the Nordic state meet. The boys came in at 8 out of 19, and the girls number 2 out of 18. And specifically, their spring sports start on April 1st. They also talked a little bit about the district meeting preparation, which immediately followed the meeting at 7 o'clock. There was quite a few people there. I was a little surprised after years have passed.
attendance was really good.
Yeah, all the articles passed, and there was only 6 total. So
Yeah, and then really no public comment or debate. They kind of sailed through.
So that kind of sums up what I had for that one. PRHS was another very quick one this time. these were following up, obviously, their winter break, so there hadn't been a lot of time for things to happen. They did have a nice presentation of the VEX Robotics group. They had a bunch of students come in. I think Zach knows one of them very well. Came in and talked about, what they did for their robot competitions that have been, all over the state and regional. Very nice job. I think all the students learned a lot through the process. And I was wishing that I could go back and be in that age group and play with these things, because I didn't have this kind of stuff when I was a student.
No, I admit I'm gonna miss it being in my my constant evening discussion for the 9 months leading up to through all the competitions. But second place, pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's
Wow.
not bad. Not bad at all. They're talking about some funds that they're using from the ESSER grants to do their boiler, I think it's boiler/air conditioning replacement. They also approved and talked about an indoor air quality policy approved.
And they distributed it to the audience.
Yes. And that was the end of the notes that I had for the meeting.
Great. Any questions for Tad? Conservation Commission.
That meets next week on the 19th at 7 o'clock right here.
Capital Improvement. No news for many months from now. Lakes Region Planning.
We have a first executive committee meeting that we've had in a while. It's coming up on Thursday.
We'll get a full update next time.
Yep. And they're gearing up for the annual meeting, which is going to be in June, and also the selection of the new executive director.
Yeah, any news on that?
You running,
Nobody invited me.
throwing your hat and
They didn't invite me to be on the selection committee.
They thought you were going to apply.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
All right. Any questions for Bill? Parks and Rec?
No report.
Parking and Economic Development?
not till April.
April. Energy Commission?
We met, was it last Wednesday? Something like that. And basically was wordsmithing the questionnaire yet again. And also, describing how they're going to be tabling at, well, I think going to be outside tomorrow, I believe. And then also maybe tabling at the town meeting itself. And, so we discussion about the QR code and stuff, but I think we got it all squared away.
Good.
Yeah.
Nothing for advisory budget. Chamber of Commerce?
Meeting Thursday.
Thursday. Perlac?
We had a visit from Eversource and their contractor, was it like VRP or VP, whatever it is, that they have a contractor that basically was doing a dog and pony show about the rollout of the next replacement of poles along the Laconia, Franklin, there's a whole line there. And so they just described the replacement of all the wood poles that are being damaged by woodpeckers and rot at the top of the wood poles, and it'll all be put in with metal poles that you've seen along the highway. And it'll be, the brown, looking stuff. It looks kind of natural, more natural than a crappy wood one. And also they are racing it like, I think it's like only 5 feet to accommodate the heavier lines. And there was some concern about the lines that I received from Joyce Weston, which I haven't responded to her yet. There was some concern about additional lines that are going in through Holderness and also Eversource, not Eversource, but NEHEC, New Hampshire Electric Co-op is going to be doing some replacements as well, but don't know where. Was that apropos? I don't know. Yeah, it was.
All right. Police and Fire.
I think we'll have an update after town meeting with regards to the budget request for that.
That takes us to public comments. We're happy to see you back in the audience.
Should I bring up something before we adjourn?
Absolutely.
So, we were down at State House doing the good work of the, what committee am I on? Ways and Means. So, we did a lot of finished off the bills that were assigned to our committee, and then we started doing the Senate bills. And one Senate bill, that came over was relative to the timber tax, and how opportune that we, ended up signing a total of $20,000 worth of timber. Because the notes that I took, they estimated that the impact on the changes that they were going to be making, they suggest making on the notice of intent to cut were minimal, and that towns don't get a lot of timber taxes anyway. The town average, from DRA's perspective, they did a dog and pony thing. It's $200 a town, and someone asked, can we have a roll-up, at least, just a total amount? And then I said, well, could you itemize it per town? And then people groaned and said, no, we do more timber tax than 200. So 20 grand is, I know it doesn't happen all the time, but the reason why they were concerned about it was they wanted to decrease the minimum, or increase the minimum that they can pretty much use for private use. And it's a person who cuts or causes to be cut within the tax year up to, it used to be, or it still is, these are just suggestions. It's currently 10,000. They want to make it 15,000 board feet of logs. And currently it's 20 cords of wood. They want to make it 30. And 300 tons of whole tree chips, which is kind of a new category for them. So that it would be the minimum bar.
Nobody's heating their own house with 30 cords of wood.
I know. We kind of, there's a whole side of our Ways and Means guy where we're talking about, do you heat with wood? I heat with wood. How much do you cut? Well, 3.5, 4 cords.
Right.
So, I mean,
So you're already at,
the guy that was kind of presenting it said, well, if you have a boiler, you might be burning 10 cord,
okay.
but not 30. But in any event, that was just brought to our committee, and I wanted to fly it by our town just for shits and giggles kind of a thing. Do you want to take a look at it?
Yeah.
You want to pass it down? But literally, the amount that they're targeting is probably not going to generate that much taxable, income, because it's a very low level. Even still, why make changes? But
Mind if I keep this? Or do
Sure.
you want this back?
no, I can.
Must
I have
help
another copy.
somebody. Somewhere.
Well, it seems, it's just a little, I shouldn't say it, but kind of sneaky, because people get away with doing their own cuts anyway. In fact, I told a guy from the, man, I've been taking wood off my property. So,
Thanks,
and
Bill.
what?
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, watch, send an auditor out. But, I just don't, it's going to make people think a little more freely about taking more wood off their property. And
Right.
so I don't really see the benefit of it. Anyway, fun stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then we did our usual historic horse racing, casino gambling, and it just never ends. And by the way, I'm going to Lebanon this Saturday to their casino, and just to see what the whole deal is. We've already, for Transport Central, we've already received around, I don't know, $12,000, $13,000. And it's just
Just to
manna from heaven,
to the
like,
Just to transport to the casino?
what's that?
To transport people to the casino?
That's a good idea.
A better deal.
Yeah, it's like those buses down to all the gambling things in Connecticut or something like that. But yeah, Mohegan Sun.
What cards do you have for Transport Central or drivers?
They're all personal cars.
Ah.
And the other things, if I could mention, I've been aggressively trying to get, excuse me, a bus and just kind of kick off a transportation thing. Well, the guy from DOT actually put a stop to that. And the Lakes Region Mental Health Association was going to sell me, or whatever, the town, whoever it was going to be, their bus for like $2,500. And they were having a lawyer, write up the person's sales. So then Maggie Pritchard, who's the director, had this very apologetic email saying that Fred from DOT, who actually showed up to our kickoff meeting, he said, no, he can't use that. It's like federal property type thing. And it's going to have to, I know that the senior center puts their buses up for auction, or they kind of got to get rid of it with the permission of DOT, and apparently DOT doesn't want me to have their bus. So I haven't met with him yet, but I'm going to get all kind of dolled up, and I mean, he knows I'm in the house anyway, but it really kind of was annoying that it was just kind of like a knee-jerk reaction on his part. But anyway, such is life. Someday we'll get there.
I have Billy Bus in my head right now. We'll call it Billy Bus.
Anything else for the discussion this evening?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mary Ann, I just have two you need to sign.